Welcome to the Football Show. I'm Peter Martin.
I'm Alan Ruff.
Well, Ruffy, there's only one place to start. They've ended the Invincibles run. Everybody's talking about Hearts. That performance at Tynecastle yesterday was absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, I have to say, and all credit to Craig Levein. He actually came out and told everybody what they're actually going to do at Celtic. And Celtic never took anything from it. And right from the very start, Hearts showed their intention of what they were going to do. They were going to close Celtic down at every opportunity, identify the players that usually hurt other teams and stop them from playing. And that's what actually they did. And they also went on an attack and capitalised on every mistake that Celtic made.
Yeah, this was a Hearts side, Ruffy, with injury problems as well. I actually thought they were going to get tonked. I thought Celtic were going to win it by 2 or 3, but Hearts, they played the pitch perfectly, and over and above that, they were, let's not make any bones about it, they were helped by blunder after blunder from Celtic.
Yeah, they certainly were, and I think obviously Craig Levein and the Hearts boys have been training all week to a pattern that they were going to do, and you could see as soon as the game started that pattern was all about hunting in packs, shutting people down, working their socks off and getting the break when it came along, and that break came with a young boy Cochrane getting a tremendous goal. But again, it was a mistake from Celtic out wide by Atta, casual to Tierney, got nipped and then put into the box, and a fantastic left foot strike which just gave the young boy all the confidence that he needed.
Yeah, I've got to say, Harry Cochrane, 16 years of age, he would have been buzzing with the goal. His performance, I think when you look at his age alone, I mean, let's hope he can build on it, show a bit of consistency. He will have a dip from time to time. Yeah,
we've said all along, the more games that young players get, and particularly in these kind of games, the more confidence they will get as the season goes on. So I hope Craig Levein sticks with him as long as possible. Obviously he's the one who'll judge maybe form was dipping a wee bit, and that'll be the time to take him out. But if it isn't dipping and his confidence is there, just leave him where he is.
Ruffy, you've been a goalkeeper over a long period of time. I'm sorry, but I thought the first goal, great strike by Kyle Lafferty, but I thought from that distance out, I thought the goalkeeper was poor, and I thought Craig Gordon's second mistake in that game was basically tackling Ross Callaghan in an area where the ball was going well away from goal.
Yeah, I would like to think that Craig is honest enough when he looks at the video analysis, as they always do after it. I think the Kyle Lafferty shot, I think he could have done better. He could have moved his feet a wee bit more and shut down the angle. But you're right, you know, the penalty was just rashness you don't see very often, and I would throw the third one into it as well. I think he came out and panicked a wee bit and sold himself early on. But it wasn't just him, you know. I think all over the park, I don't think you could look at a Celtic player who you would give pass marks to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Hearts can perform as well in the Edinburgh Derby at Tynecastle on the 27th. If they manage to defeat Hibs, then they really will feel they're on the up and on the way back. Craig Levein with a January transfer window as well. Players to come back from injury, young starlets there too. It could be good times ahead for Hearts. Of course, no excuses from the Celtic captain Scott Brown on the performance of the team on the day.
Yeah, it's been a great run, to be perfectly honest, the way we played over the last 19 months. It's been great. It was disappointing, but Hearts played really well on the day and they deserved the victory. The way we played, it's not like us, to be perfectly honest. We couldn't get the ball down, but that's due to Hearts pressing high up the park and putting us under pressure. And, the pitch maybe not being as good as it should be, but it was fair play to Hearts. They came, they had a match plan, and they done it really well. Confidence is a little bit dented with the way we lost the goals, the way we performed, but we'll bounce back.
Yeah, we'll bounce back is the message, and I think Celtic against Partick Thistle in midweek is just a little taster ahead of what could be a cracker on Saturday. Celtic against Aberdeen.
Yeah, I think Celtic are fortunate. The next game they've got is a home game, you know, against Partick Thistle, sitting bottom of the league. They would like to think they would go into that game and get a comforting win, a morale boosting to go into this Aberdeen game, because I think the Aberdeen game is going to be the big billing, obviously, at the weekend. And again, people will be coming to the conclusion, can Aberdeen actually do it? At the big match, when we went up to Pittodrie, we were all looking at something there, and Celtic just ran out 3-0 winners. So it'd be interesting to see if Aberdeen have learned in from that, but it'll be a great game at the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, 69 games unbeaten for Celtic. Even Scott Brown and the rest of the players admit they're proud of what they achieved.
It's fantastic every single game since the managers came in. It's been brilliant. He's been a breath of fresh air to probably every Celtic fan, as well as every single player that's came in as well. And we've enjoyed it. And don't get me wrong, we're disappointed with yesterday's performance, but it's been a fantastic 69 games beforehand. Every game we go into that field, we do it for them. And they gave us something back at the end. I know it wasn't the result that they wanted, but they stayed, they appreciated our 69 games, and it's all pretty much due to them.
Yeah, I think some Celtic fans, Ruffy, will be maybe critical of certain aspects of the game, certain players' performances, which is natural over 90 minutes, but the majority of them appreciate what's been achieved. It's a heck of a run.
Yeah, I think they deserved the time to have the huddle in the middle of the park. Obviously a few words were said within the huddle, and yep, I think Brendan Rodgers would just be telling them, well done lads, you know, it's been an incredible run, and let's pick it up again for the games ahead.
Yep, somebody had to stop the Invincibles. It was Hearts, but there were certainly impressive figures over the 69 games for Celtic. Yep, the Celtic Invincibles, 69 games unbeaten. Do you think anybody else will ever beat that record, Ruffy?
No, I don't think so. I think it was incredible. You know, I think other teams will strengthen. I think Celtic will still win the league. But no, I think if you're part of that team, you're now in the record books, and I'm sure that's what these guys are in it for. You know, obviously they want to win titles, but it's good to equal or beat records and be in it.
OK, up at Pittodrie, Aberdeen, impressive, Ruffy. Neil Lennon says they got slapped, they were abject. Cowdenbeath could have beaten them comfortably, he said. I just love that picture because it's all about the Gary Mackay-Stevens show. He set one up beautifully and he scored a hat-trick.
Yeah, I think the Aberdeen supporters have been waiting on this for a long time. I think we all know the ability he had at Dundee United. Never happened for him at Celtic. Don't know the reason why that came, but he went up to Aberdeen, and we all know the individual skill that he has, and he just showed it at the weekend. And I think he was part and parcel of every Aberdeen goal. Yeah,
let's not underestimate the achievement of the Dons, because we actually thought maybe Hibs could go up there. Some suggested nicking a point, some suggested they could go up there and win. Neil Lennon has been bragging about the fact that he believes they could make a real case for being the second force in Scotland.
Yep, and I'm sure he went up there with a lot of confidence, but when half-time came, I don't think I would have liked to have been in that dressing room at half-time, because the goals that they lost were poor goals, and you could see his frustration at the side. And he probably did go up there, you know, with a lot of confidence in light of the game with Rangers and the Celtic game. But he's been brought back down to earth again, and I think that's just happening too often at Hibs, and they're up there looking good and then losing when least expected.
Yeah. Do we have a title race on our hands, Ruffy?
Yep, if you ask me after the games on Saturday, depending on that result, obviously if Celtic go on and win it, everybody will go, oh, here we go again, Aberdeen challenging at the time of the season and not coming through with the result they want. So let's just hang on and wait and see what that result is.
Yeah, OK, Celtic Aberdeen Saturday. This is a coupon buster for me. St Johnstone winning 3-1 at Ibrox. It's a 46-year wait for it, but boy, did they take full advantage of it. You just don't know what you're getting with this Rangers side.
No, you don't, and I think the supporters will be extremely frustrated. Obviously, it seems to be a Rangers team when going a goal in front, all the confidence in the world. You can see as soon as that first St Johnstone goal goes in, there's certain heads start looking to the ground going, right, here we go again. And when the second one goes in, there's a lot of players in that Rangers team just disappearing, and I don't think they can handle playing at home. And I think they're obviously more comfortable away from home when obviously they're not playing in front of 50,000, and that's a massive problem for a player who is playing with Rangers just now.
Yeah, well, when they're doing well in that 4-match unbeaten run, they were getting praise, but equally, Graham Murty, the interim manager, says if you lose a game, you have to take the criticism.
It's really interesting because you get lots and lots of plaudits when you do well. You get lots of plaudits for standing up to challenges against Aberdeen and Hibs, and you win 4 in a row, and all of a sudden everything's rosy. We now are going to take a deal of but as to the things around the players could be walking into a challenging series of games on top of the world after putting a really strong marker down today, and we didn't manage to get there. So I'll be looking at myself first and foremost as to what I did for the players. Did I give them enough? Did I give them enough information? But also I think it's time for the players to go away in a considered fashion and look at what they need to do better as well.
Yeah, well, they need to bounce back right away. I think Kilmarnock is a tough one. Rugby Park, artificial surface. Some of those players, I think the big question is what the board's going to do to give either Graham Murty or someone else the money to change things. 2 big games coming up for Rangers, Kilmarnock and Celtic.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you're right, the AstroTurf, the all-weather, whatever you want to call it, has not been a good surface for Rangers, and it remains to be seen how many of the players will be up for it after that heavy defeat at the weekend. But Kilmarnock, you're right, I think the new manager has given players a lift. There's players coming into the team and doing well, which is always a good headache for the manager. And obviously you've got Chris Boyd hanging about, who'd love to score against his old team. So again, that'll be another fantastic game at the weekend. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's look to Hamilton against Ross County. 5 goals, Ruffy. It was a real humdinger of a game, and I love games where you've got goals, controversy, penalties, punch-up. What more can you ask for, Ruffy, in a game of football in Scotland? It looked great, you know, in the highlights that I've seen, obviously, a lot of the goals were controversial, in the box, outside the box. Was that a penalty? You know, bad defending. It had everything, and then obviously the fight at the end when I thought the referee was going to get right in about that. You know, it was his first game, his first game in charge, and I kept saying to myself, please don't hit anybody. But I thought he handled it well. He waited till it settled down, and then he identified the players, and then you and you. So I'll full credit to him in his first senior game. Yeah,
Hamilton win it in the end with a late one. It's an OG, and I'm sure Martin Canning won't care. He gets the 3 points. I think Hamilton, Ross County, I think Partick Thistle and Dundee. I don't count Kilmarnock in the equation at the bottom end, Ruffy.
No, you're not counting them because they're winning, and that's the main thing. When you're down the bottom of the league, if you can win 2 or 3 games in the trot, you know, that just takes you away out of the pressure area, particularly when you're beating the other teams that are down there.
Yeah, I don't count them because I think they've got Boyd, Brophy chipping in. They've got threats from Burke, Dylan Jones as well. I think they've got enough craft in there. Malumbu has been a good acquisition as well. So I'm looking at them and I'm saying, okay, there's goals in that team now. The others I'm wondering about it, albeit Hamilton got 3 at the weekend there. I just wonder if there's enough good strikers to fire the other teams away from the danger area. Dundee certainly bounced back. Listening to Neil McCann, Sophie and Musa is a key player for them. He got a brace at the weekend in the 3-0 win over your old team, Partick Thistle.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the Dundee supporters were waiting on him, you know, notching, you know, that he looked very good on the ball and everything. But Elbach too, they've been waiting on him, you know, hitting the heady heights when that's not happened with him. But no, I think the 2 goals, although penalty, you'll take them, it's still 2 goals. But they look as if he's the main man that they look at. And if he, as you say, if he continues to score like that, then he could be the saviour for them.
Yeah, are you worried about the Jags?
A wee bit worried yet, not like really worried, but obviously you don't like to be bottom of the league. Alan Archibald every year has had the ability to pull the Jags out of the fiery furnace, and Hamilton Accies at the weekend, what a game that is going to be at home. Again, you know, he'll be looking at that saying this is a must 3 points for us.
Yeah, a lot of people will be watching and thinking, I wonder what scale Ruffy's working off on the worried and really worried. If 1 is I'm not really worried and 10 is I'm really, really worried, what number are you at the moment, Ruffy?
Yeah, I think I'm maybe at 5.
5, okay. Midway. Okay, still to get the January transfer window out of the way. Last game, Kilmarnock defeated Motherwell by a goal to nil. In the end, it was a scrappy goal. Who cares? Scott Boyd, not Chris Boyd, Scott Boyd scored the goal that gave them all 3 points. And of course, the manager Steve Clarke says he's slowly but surely getting used to Scottish football.
Didn't really know the squad when I came up here. I didn't really know the Scottish game. I'd been working down south for a number of years. So coming up here has been an education, a process of learning again about the players in the league up here. And obviously, when you come in as a new manager, you spend the first however many number of training sessions learning about the players. And I think I'm learning all the time, and I'm still learning about my players. Scott Boyd hadn't featured at all. He's not the prettiest training ground player that you've ever seen, but on the pitch, on a match day, he knows how to defend. His career will tell you that, his record will tell you that. And for me, the pleasing aspect is when your squad players come in and stand up and do their job for the team. That means that they're working properly day in, day out in the training ground, and I think that's a good message for everyone else that's in the squad waiting on their chance.
Yeah, it's a great line from a manager. He's not the prettiest on the training ground, means he's not really very good, but when he gets into match day, he's a player.
Yeah, I thought he was a player at Ross County. I don't know why they let him go. A big towering boy, you know, he gives 100%. I think he missed the most important person in their team, and it's Jamie McDonald, the goalkeeper. If you look at most of the games this season, some of the saves he makes are absolutely superb, and for me, he was their match winner at the weekend.
Yeah, okay. Motherwell, big questions. Ever since the 3 games against Celtic, fine. But the Moult thing, I think, has been a real body blow to them as well. Although when you hear Stephen Robinson, he is still fairly optimistic that when Louis Moult says goodbye at Fir Park, they still have enough in reserve.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, as much as Louis scored a lot of goals, I'm sure he'd be the first to admit that we've created a heck of a lot of chances for him. You don't score goals on your own, and we do. We create a lot of chances. And I thought today, our football and our build-up play was excellent. It was really, really good. There's very little that I can say was wrong with the performance. We got punished for one mistake, which is the reality of first-team football. And you know, Russell actually makes up for his mistake as well. You know, we have to be fair to the kid, but he is a kid. He's 21 years of age. He's played a limited amount of football, and we have to put an arm around him and make sure he goes again on Saturday.
I think Motherwell will be fine. I think the big job for Stephen Robinson is just trying to get someone who can maybe hit the ground running. Yeah. If he could get someone who could come in as a striker to replace Moult, which was the tall order, you know, 8 or 9 goals in the second half of the season, you know, keep them safe.
Yeah, well, they're a wee bit more luckier than the other teams that are around about them because they've got money to spend. Yeah. You know, I don't think any of the others have got money to spend. I think Aberdeen? They'll probably. No, I'm having Motherwell run 6 downwards. Right. But I think they've got money to spend, not to go out and splash the money, but maybe bring a couple of wages in. You know, I think that'll be the same with the other teams down the bottom, the Partick Thistles, Dundees, you know, Ross Counties. I don't think there'll be a lot of money thrown about in the transfer window, but I think there will be players coming and going. Okay,
here's the table for the Premiership after all the games at the weekend. Let's not forget that Celtic's game in hand is against Partick Thistle. So Celtic out in front by a couple of points over Aberdeen, as you can see, and then further back Rangers with a 6-point advantage over Hibernian. And at the bottom end, boy, 4, 5, 6 clubs all tight in that bottom half, Ruffy, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I think St Johnstone, Motherwell, Kilmarnock are going to be the 3 that are probably reverse roles for the next couple of months. I think the 4 at the bottom will be fighting all the way. But there will be a fixture list when, say, Partick Thistle are playing Ross County, Dundee, Hamilton, Motherwell, and vice versa for all the other teams. And I think that'll be the most important part if you can get 3 of these games with 3 wins.
Okay, don't forget to download the app, the PLZ Soccer app. Keeps you up to date with the latest news north and south of the border, and we've got exclusive interviews, unique content for you on the website www.plzsoccer.com. and if you get the app, you get the chance to enter competitions as well, and maybe put a wee flutter on some of the great games coming up over the next couple of weeks before we hit the winter break. So thanks for watching the programme. If you want to watch more of Peter Peter and Ruffy, you can on STV weeknights, Monday to Friday. It's on at 7:30, where you'll be able to see on Monday night the extended show with all the goals from the Scottish Premiership. And on a Saturday, we're on 2 till 6 on STV2. From Ruffy and myself, thanks for watching.